folks. Thanks for joining me this evening again on Cooking with Dan Leslie. My name is Janet Rapasardi-Huff. I'll be your host in the heated kitchen with Dan. How you doing, Dan?
Good, Janet. How you doing? Hey,
Good.
Greg, what's up? Kind of murky out there today, huh?
Yeah, it is.
We need a little rain, though.
We
A little
do.
rain and a little warmth. That's what we need. Get that grass growing.
We don't have to worry about the warmth in here, though.
No, it's a little toasty.
Yeah,
Always
a little
toasty in the
here.
kitchen.
Yeah. What are we doing?
I was going to make, it's spring. The tomatoes are starting to happen pretty well. They're all nice and ripe.
Oh, yeah, they look nice.
So I was going to make a little bruschetta, some tomato bruschetta, and show you how we put it on some crackers. We kind of have an in-between sort of cracker. We don't use we treat it like not as a bruschetta that by the book, but nor is it a salsa where you taste those
I
little
see,
corn
yeah.
chips or something. That's kind of a salsetta. It's like a little in between. So we'll get to that later. The first thing we're going to do is I'm going to score the tomatoes.
Okay.
And I'm just going to blanch them, just toss them into some boiling water for half a minute, and the water should get under the skin just enough to so I can remove the skin without any real problem. Right now, if you try to tear it off, you take the tomato with it.
Right.
So I'm just going to give it a couple slashes to help it along. You don't want to leave it in too long. You don't want to feel like you're cooking anything. And, half a minute, just drop it in, and that'll be it. But,
And that's only on the one side you're doing this?
yeah.
Okay.
I suppose I could put a couple more cuts in it, but we'll see. Yeah, kind of murky out there. One of those days. Somber.
Somber.
Nothing a couple vodka and tonics won't cure. I'm feeling somber today, so yeah, I got the water moving. There's no salt, no nothing in the water. We're going to season it all later. Just going to drop them in here for half a minute. And you know what I think I'll do? I had a grilled calamari, a grilled squid I was going to do. While the tomatoes are cooling off a little bit, while they're draining, I'll do the grilled squid, and then we'll get into the bruschetta, okay? Sounds good.
Sounds good. So, what did we call it? Salsetta?
Salsetta, yeah, I take it. I've been,
that, Dan.
yeah, it's a neat snack to put out. I have a little spoon here, and you put some of it in here. I usually take a little hot pepper that we ground up real fine, and just enough to, get a little bite to it. And I'm sure you've seen a lot of these crackers in a store and whatnot. And sometimes some of the bruschetta is put on some of that big lunky bread that it's kind of glommy in my opinion. It's like biting into a piece of cardboard. But this stuff here, it's French bread. And we get some clarified butter really, really hot, and we flip it quickly, and then toss it in a bag with a little granulated garlic and some salt. Try one of these. They're addictive, I think.
I was hoping you were going to ask me to do that. Oh, they're nice and light.
Yeah, they're light,
Beautiful.
they're buttery, they're just great, I'm telling you, you get that going with some nice tomatoes and a zippy mix with the hot pepper in there, you get a couple suds going.
Ooh.
It's just
Can't
great.
wait.
It's great. It's great to start a meal with that sort of thing.
It's good for these hopefully hot summer days we're going to be having soon.
Oh yeah. The temperature, it's been off a little bit. It's been off a little bit. Be nice if we can get some of that spring type weather and through June.
But a couple days ago we had over 70.
Right, but I know it's like a treat.
Oh yeah, it was a treat.
All right, I guess these tomatoes are where we want them. And I'll just step over here and rinse.
As I
Put them
finish
under a little
munching.
cold water to stop the cooking process.
We better get something on these quick, Dan.
Pardon me?
We better get something on these quick before I just eat all of them.
But they're great, aren't they?
They
They're
are.
crispy, they're light, they're happening. But I mean, some of those things, so I've got a little grill pan here. That's all I'm going to do the squid in. We're going to do it in this little grill pan here. I made a little marinade here of some, there's my little spoons.
Oh, it looks like a little olive oil.
Pardon me?
Olive oil?
Yeah, and some garlic and some salt
garlic?
and some pepper. That's all it is, just a little simple marinade. And I've got this pan, this grill pan, nice and hot. And I'll put our little tubies in here. This one's huge.
Oh, yeah.
That was Dada. Here's Junior and,
Dad and Junior.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a whole family.
right, got the whole family in there. Yeah, so while the tomatoes are cooling off a little bit, we'll try this squid. You know what I should do? I should score it just a little bit because they tend to bubble up a little bit on us. So while they're in here, I probably should have done this first, except I'm not that bright.
Oh, that prevents it from just puffing up?
Right,
Okay.
right. Yeah, I like the larger ones. You know, you get into that whole thing about the lobsters and the clams. I got to have them teeny weeny, they're most tender. I don't buy any of that. You got to know how to cook these. I mean, you know, with the clam, you don't want the thing that ate Cleveland out there on your plate. But
Yeah,
you know, I mean, you don't need these. Oh, they've got to be the size of my pinky, or I can't have it. You know, because I like it once you steam them or something. There's a little bit of meat to them. You know, a little bit of something happening.
Sure.
I think that's enough. We'll see when I put it in the pan. We're going to find out right now if that was enough. All right. This is going to smoke up considerably.
Now, is there anything on the pan?
No,
Okay.
just this marinade. You know, you have to like that charred, smoky
Oh, I love it.
grill flavor.
And this will give you that nice kind of seared look when you turn
Oh
it
yeah,
over.
oh yeah, they're going to be good.
Well, you can smell the garlic and the pepper on that already. That's great.
Yeah, it doesn't take long at all. Once again, this squid is another one of these items that that you don't, you know, there's a lot of ways of doing it. Basically, we went over this the last time. We were doing squid, where you either get it in and out of the pan rapidly, or you just cook it in there so you beat this thing down till there's nothing left of it, you know? So there's no real middle ground there, you know, but it's nice and got that good grill marks on it, and should slice that a little bit
You did a good
more.
job searing those.
Yeah,
They're not popping up.
not too
Great.
bad. Let me
No,
just,
No, they look good.
and again, I try to miss all of these sorts of things on the underdone side, you know? I mean, for crying out loud, they're serving sushi. This stuff is raw.
Right.
So, you know, but that's the way to do it. We don't necessarily have to have sushi, but... All right, let me take this pan over here. I was going to put this on a little bed of arugula
There we go.
and toss this with a...
Love that arugula.
Add a little balsamic vinaigrette here. I should actually be tossing this in a separate bowl and then putting it on the plate. I love arugula. You know, it's really something else.
What
Yes.
a burst of flavor when it's fresh.
Oh,
and,
boy, I'm telling you.
beautiful.
Nothing can make your day like that. All right, try to put the larger one in the center, and we'll flank it with two smallers. And we can take a little more of the vinaigrette. You know, I was going to garnish this dish with some of this roasted pepper here, but you know, I think we can get away with it. I had a little paprika mix over here. I think that'll do the
I
job.
was just going to, suggest that. Just a little paprika.
Yeah, a little something around the plate there.
Sure.
Let's see how that looks. Yeah, that works. That's the third color we want in there. Maybe a little
Right.
bit on top. Well, there you have it. We have a grilled calamari there over arugula. You know, this is something you can do on your outdoor grill, whether you had arugula or another type of green. And buy some squid. Ask for the larger ones, unless you don't want, you know, large ones. Get whatever size you want and turn your grill on. Just marinate them a little bit in some oil and some seasoning. Toss them around, serve it over your greens, and away we go. Maybe that mesclun mix.
Oh, the mesclun mix.
You could
That
do
would
that,
be
although,
nice.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah, that calls for sometimes more petite treatment. Arugula could stand up to it. Romaine could stand up to it. You know, any sort of green. Just flip the stuff on your grills, and you can do this with shrimp, scallops,
Oh,
anything like
great
that,
idea.
right? Yeah, but with the dressing and that sort of thing, it could be a main course or an hors d'oeuvre. All right.
Okay.
got the tomatoes ready to go here. So we're going to take the skins off them. Okay. Guess I could take the tomatoes and maybe put them here, and I'll put the skin back into this container. Okay. So you can see they've, you know, we just haven't done too much to them, but it's just
peel really easily.
right.
Great.
Just peel them right off.
And blanching is a process, as you said before, Dan. You're not cooking the tomatoes.
No.
You're just
Right. We just wanted to get
dunking
that.
them for
Just to get
about
the
a minute
heat.
or so.
Right, just to
Yeah.
blister the skin off. I guess blister is about what we're doing. All right, we've got these tomatoes. They're all skinned. It took us 2 seconds to do. We just didn't do it all of it on camera. And I'll take one of the tomatoes and just, we're going to, you know, it doesn't matter that much. I'm going to cut it into quarters.
Are we going to dice these or slice them?
I'm going to take the seeds out first.
Oh, okay.
Then strain, then I'm going to chop them coarsely. And then I'm going to take some of the water out of the tomato. See, I don't want the seeds or this sort of, and whatever you call the pulp
Oh, the pulp. Okay.
in the tomato. We don't need any of that. We just want the meat of the tomato, which is probably, that's the pulp, right?
And you see you've got a lot of the liquid coming out with the
Right.
seed and the pulp.
So I'm going to chop this coarsely, and then I'm going to maybe put it in a strainer for 2 seconds and maybe take half of the water out. So we want it watery, but I want the oil that I'm going to add to this, you know, to work with it. All right? We've got 50% of the water we've taken out of the tomatoes. You know, they got plenty of water left over. And I guess I'll toss them into our little mixing bowl. We don't need the excess water.
And
or
now
our
you've
strainer.
diced these as well.
Yes, we chop them,
Chop
you know,
them up?
coarsely.
Yeah.
We've chopped them coarsely.
Okay.
And now we're getting into that zone where, you know, somebody's going to say, I don't put that in my bruschetta, I put this, I don't do that, you can't do, you know, there's a lot of ways of doing this sort of thing, and I'm just going to do it with some Bermuda onion, some raw garlic. We could have roasted the garlic and some basil leaves, and I'm going to accent it with a little seasoning. So I'll take a little Bermuda onion, chop it up. I love the way this onion goes with the with tomatoes.
And we're finally chopping that up.
Right. Yeah, you can have it as fine or as coarse as you. Just I'll add this to the amount of, I guess I could put it all in.
Sure. Little arugula.
Yeah, I got
Little garlic.
A little garlic we'll put in there. I guess I'll crush it up. Gonna crush it, and then we'll chop it.
I found that's actually most potent when you crush it first and then chop it.
Yeah.
I think that just gives you more of the garlic flavor than if you slice it.
Yeah, you're really forcing the flavor out. And especially if you do it as you're about to mix it, you don't lose anything. I think I have enough garlic to work with the tomato mixture there. We're going to chop this up. And this is something I like to have it sit overnight or sit for half the afternoon. You could serve it right away, but I like to get all the flavors married up. Let's see, I might even be a little too much, yeah. I'll show a little restraint with the garlic. Now I've got some basil leaves. Can take them and put them together like this and do it that chiffonade style,
Oh,
where you
nice.
take it and, you know, you roll it up a
Roll it.
little bit, yeah.
It's just easier that way too.
Oh, yeah. Standing here chopping it like a maniac, right? You know, all the smells of summer
Oh,
here.
the fragrance is wonderful. You're right, it does smell like summer, doesn't it?
Right. We'll add that in there. Alrighty, you got a little gander of that. We've got our garlic, our onion, our basil, and our tomatoes. I like to put a little nipster of vinegar in here. This is balsamic vinegar. Red wine vinegar is just fine. Just a little nip-a-roo. I'm in some white pepper. That will disappear. And a little salt. Alrighty, and in this little squirt bottle, I've got some nice extra virgin olive oil. I'm going to add the oil twice. Okay? See how that's looking there? It's looking a little oily. I'm going to add a touch more, I think. Add a touch more Earl.
Earl.
But the vinegar, I like to keep in the background on this dish. It really jumps in there. I just put a little splash.
And adding the oil twice does, what is it? What does that do?
Well, I just want to make sure I didn't over-oil it.
Oh, I see.
There we have it. I'm going to set this up with our croutons here. Get a little of this on the plate. So it's got some basil. The onions are jumping out there. And like I said, when I do it, I like to have it with a little of, I'll clean our little area here. I like to add a little hot pepper to it, crushed, finely crushed hot pepper, to give it some real zippity-doo-dah. But yeah, I've got those little croutons now, some bruschetta, take a little espresso spoon, tap a little on, little pre-dinner.
Looks good.
All right.
Okay, and this next dish is a pasta dish?
Yes, this is another little nifty pasta dish, and this is something you could do at home. Yes, I've got a little prosciutto here.
Oh.
It's thinly sliced. I've got some garlic and baby peas, some white wine. I've got some heavy cream, some marinara sauce. I mean, you know, if you didn't make your own, buy a jar of whatever in the store. But if you bought a jar of sauce quick and had some pasta, it doesn't have to be angel hair. You could, you know, stop at the deli counter for a little prosciutto. You could, and you have a little nip of Pinot Grigio in the fridge. You can take do this dish, and it's easy enough. It's basically a tomato sauce with a little touch of cream. It's not a cream sauce with you know, vice versa.
Okay.
And what we want to do is I've got a little water on. I've got a pan here, and I'm going to do the some garlic and prosciutto. I'm going to whisk them, brown them up a little bit in the pan, and hit it with some white wine. That's all. It's relatively simple, but you know, it's just it's a great flavor, especially when the wine and the prosciutto and the garlic get married up. I don't want to go crazy with it, even though I am a little crazy. And we'll try that. We'll try that. Yeah. All right, we'll get a pan on here. Once again, I got my little squidgy bottle of oil. You can always add more oil in there. Get some garlic in there. That's a hair too much, but that's okay.
But we like garlic.
We like garlic.
Oh, yeah.
Prosciutto, I'm going to put in at the same time.
Prosciutto. Oh, talk about something that we like. Now that you made the calamari earlier,
Right, this is...
I want to know when those soft shell crabs are
Oh,
coming
yeah.
in. You know, those are
They're here.
my
They're
favorite.
here.
Are they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you got to do that next time for me, Dan.
Yeah, sure, for sure. The, yeah, right. Yeah, we're going to, they're in and they're looking gorgeous too, you know.
Are they?
Oh, that's just wonderful. I'm so glad they're here. So I feel like when I have them around, it's like, you know, we're bringing Reggie Jackson in off the off the disabled list here. Really, it's incredible. It's such a good thing. It's such a great taste too, you know.
Oh, it is.
You just have to be able to get past the fact they have to be cleaned really well. That's such an important thing. See some of these guys, they practically they take them, they wash them off, bread them up, fling them in the deep fryer, and away we go, right? But
No, I was taught the old Italian way. You've got to clean them.
oh yeah, you got to take some
Clean them.
time with
Yeah,
that.
clean the inside too. Yeah.
All right, you can smell the garlic and the prosciutto for that matter. You know, we want to be careful You know, we don't want to overdo it where the garlic's going to be bitter. I'm trying to add I'm trying to add enough oil to this just to make the dish work.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I didn't want to have this thing drenched with oil.
Right.
So, you know, you bought some prosciutto at the store. You're searing it up. You got a little jar of that garlic. Threw a little of that into your own taste.
And actually, I guess if for folks at home, just purchase tomato sauce. I mean, this gives it a homemade kind of
Oh yeah,
flavor.
it's just great. It's just great. I want to pull this away from the flame. Anytime you're adding these alcohols or wines, make sure you're doing it away from the flame. Okay.
Ooh.
I'm going to reduce that a little bit. Get rid of the alcohol, and also give the flavors a chance to mesh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that is a little bit much on the garlic department. Maybe if you get the tomato sauce that's got the low garlic content, because we're going to add something that also has, it's our basic marinara sauce. So I'm a little high on the garlic department. You and Greg will have to let me know if you can, how your breath is for the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay. But you know, we like a lot of garlic, so we might be okay still here.
All right. You can see we reduced that wine by maybe 50%. You know, it's got a nice fragrance coming off of it.
Oh, great.
Alrighty. We're going to add a little tomato sauce, a little basic marinara sauce.
That looks good.
And you know, this is all your own ratio. You got to see how much prosciutto and whatnot is in there, and you just do what you'd like to do. Going to add a little salt and pepper to this. All right. I'm going to bring this to a rapid boil, and I'll toss our capellini in. I'm going to use angel hair. All right, the prosciutto's there. You still see it, right? I haven't added too much sauce. And you have to be careful. If you put too thick a sauce in, and you want to reduce this now, and you realize you've gotten it too thick and you don't want to use 10 tons of cream, maybe you could, actually you'd put the cream in first and if it was still a little thick, just add some water to it.
Oh, really?
Just add a little water. You know, one thing I did forget in our little box, well, maybe you could hold the fort down here for a second while the tomatoes were coming together and reduce it, and don't add any secret ingredients in there, would you please? I forgot some Parmesan. That's what I forgot, yeah.
Oh, how could you do that, Dan?
Toss a little capellini. You gotta have that Parma in there. I know, I'm a bad boy.
You bet.
I'm gonna throw it all in. What the heck, right? All right. If you could keep an eye on that.
Okey-doke.
Maybe a fork with this, separate the angel hair.
Okay.
I'll go run in here and get our Parmesan. I'm gonna tell your grandma. Oh, you do have your apron on.
Okay.
All right, we've got the Parmesan.
Holding the fort?
Holding the fort, huh?
No, sure, trying to do a good job.
Okay, all right, I'm sure you are. Got
I have a good teacher.
Why don't we turn that down to half? Turn that flame down to half on the tomato. We don't want to reduce it too rapidly.
Oh, turned it off, Dan.
That's okay. You got it?
Very good.
All the way up. There we go. Little magic breath
Tricks of the
there.
trade.
I like this cooked on the al dente side. Almost everything. I'm Mr. Crunchy here. Everything's al dente. How are we doing here? All right, we're reducing this. Everything's getting married nicely. This is going to be a good dish. Got one of those marinaras with those good sweet Italian tomatoes too,
Oh,
the nice imported tomatoes. Nothing against California, but you know, when it comes to the tomatoes, Italy's got it going. Yeah, certain things, certain necks of the woods, right?
Oh.
Maine, you've got the lobsters. You have the red snapper off of Florida, the Gulf, as opposed to the stuff that's in the warmer waters down in the tropics. It's so much better around Florida. All right, I think that's tight enough that we can add our cream to that. How's our angel hair doing? See, it's still
That
bowed.
feels-
It's still
yeah,
bowed
you're
like
right.
that, okay?
Yeah.
And when you're serving this angel hair, you've got to feel like you're not serving enough. It's really, really important to do that. This stuff expands as you're eating it. I'll add the cream twice. See, it's getting a nice peach color to it.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I could add a touch more. How's our... I think we're getting in the
Getting
good
there.
zone there.
Sure,
In
that's
fact,
getting
I'll
there.
go with it right now, okay? Drain that right off. That's a little al dente, but what the heck. Maybe a touch more cream. There, I think that's where we want to have it. All right, we'll plate it up now. All right, I'm going to take the angel hair, and I like to do it like this. I think it's really important. Once again, notice I didn't use all of the angel hair. I'm going to add a little Parma cheese right on it here, on the pasta. And this is good Parmesan. It's not Romano, just real nice Grana Parmesan. And this stuff melts just from the heat of the pasta here. And it doesn't have that biting flavor.
Yeah, some are very sharp.
Right.
Some of the cheeses.
All righty, we'll toss some of this onto the plate. See if I can't get all the pasta out. But I like it when you can keep that yellow color. Come on, Dan, get it together, buddy.
It just doesn't want to go for you.
Yeah, but and see how this is in relation to the plate here? You don't want any more than that, no more than that. It's really important because this stuff just expands. It's like the thing that wouldn't go away. It's unbelievable. I'll put some sauce on there. If you're not sure with the angel hair, you should really go much more sauce than you normally would. Maybe put a little extra out on the side, but the trick to it is undercook it, serve less of it, and maybe have a little extra more sauce than you normally would. And I'm going to garnish the top of that with these nice baby peas.
Oh, that looks nice.
It's a really good dish, and this is all something you could do right in your little casa and gets everybody happy.
Well, thanks, folks. Here we are out in the Dan's dining room and out of the kitchen
summer
again.
kickoff
it's
show,
a summer
right?
kioff.
That's
Yeah,
right.
either that or Greg's video lights are
Jesus, I'm telling you, what is that, 1,000 watts? I feel like I'm 10 feet from the sun, for crying out
telling
loud.
We're the bathing suits. Oh, what did we do this evening?
Oh yeah, we did our little salsiccia, I want to
those
call
are
that.
great.
The chopped tomatoes with the crispy croutons there. I love those things. I think there's a few left for tonight, you know, I'm pretty sure you, did you save any?
I
or-
might have. Not too many.
And we had the grilled calamari with the arugula and the little balsamic vinaigrette. That's nice and light. Once again, something you can toss together in 2 seconds at home. You know, whatever dressing, a little arugula, flip some shrimp or squid on the grill, and away you go. Then we did the pasta with the angel hair and the prosciutto and the white wine. Right, I forgot the Parmesan cheese.
Well, that was okay.
I know. But a little cream finish to the sauce, and it just goes great with the
Beautiful
angel
color.
hair. Yeah, once again, just grab the tomatoes and you grab a few things in the store, and away you go.
And everything was like nice and simple. Less time in the kitchen, more time out there enjoying the summer heat.
That's right.
Anyway, folks, thank you again for joining us this evening. My name is Janet Rapasardi-Hoff with Dan Leslie, and we'll see you again next week.